Hello and thank you for joining me for your daily tarot. So as the title or thumbnail would have suggested, this read is all about how you can heal from your past trauma. Excuse me while I struggle with this deck for a minute. Yeah, how you can heal from your past trauma. So obviously you can tell straight away from that title as to whether or not this reading is going to be helpful for you and for your situation. Okay, so I'm just going to shuffle through the deck here for a minute, then I'm going to cut the deck and we'll start pulling your cards. Okay, now there does need to be a bit of a trigger warning with these readings, okay, because I tend not to hold back when it comes down to this sort of read. Okay, it is important that that we get out as much of the information as we possibly can, and some of it might be a little bit hard to hear, okay, so that's why I've got to put a bit of a trigger warning with it. So let me just finish pulling your cards and then we can get into this energy. Okay. Right, so how has this trauma impacted on your life? It's the Five of Wands, rivalry. So your trauma has made you believe that you have to compete with other people, okay? So this is the sort of situation where you constantly feel as if you're coming under attack. You see with the dinosaurs there, and they're literally just about to fight each other. So not a pleasant place to be. Feeling like you have to match up to others. So it's given you this unhealthy expectation of yourself. I'm hearing dog eat dog. So yeah, it's like you're constantly on edge, constantly expecting to come under attack. All right, struggling to do basic things such as go out and socialize with other people, and to be able to do that and just chill and just relax. So you're going to be the one that's constantly looking around the room, you know, checking if anybody is acting suspiciously or acting dodgy, you know, always ready to jump up to the defense, basically. So yeah, you're definitely unable to sort of just let your hair down and just chill and relax. It's something that's incredibly difficult for you. And then on top of constantly feeling like you have to make comparisons between yourself and other people with this Five of Wands rivalry. And again, yes, I am seeing that you have also fallen under the microscope for other people to do the same to you. Okay, for whatever reason, it's like they see you, they see what you're doing, and instantly it's almost like they take this instant dislike to you, and they have to go out and do whatever it is that you're doing, but they have to make a point of doing it better, you know. So that's all encompassed in this rivalry energy as well. So not the healthiest, definitely not the healthiest. The emotions that you carry because of this trauma that you've experienced throughout your lifetime is the Seven of Wands and bravery. Yeah. Constantly having to be the brave one, the one that represses their own emotions, the one that fights away their own emotions, along the lines of boys don't cry sort of thing. Okay, and again, like, even if you're a feminine or a woman, same thing applies, you know. Basically being made to feel like your emotions not welcome type thing, yeah, with this Seven of Wands bravery. So always being the one that has to maybe put your head above the parapet, so to speak. Always having to be the one that has to maybe initiate things, you know. But again, it's all part and parcel of your difficult experiences in life, and now you've developed these coping mechanisms that a lot of the times are actually working against you rather than working for you, especially where you feel that you have to repress your own emotions, where you feel that you have to constantly be the one that has to, you know, hide away someplace quiet to have a cry so that nobody will see you doing it, type thing. Now the Lovers and Ultimatum is coming out in the place of how this trauma affects your relationships or your ability to relate to others. With Ultimatum, again, not great. Did I say that this read was going to be a little bit hard to listen to? Yeah, that's why I keep pausing, because I have to choose my words carefully with this one, because it is quite a hard topic to cover, and you'll find that not many readers will cover this sort of topic for that exact reason. Okay, it's only going to appeal to a very small select few of individuals who are like deadly serious about improving themselves. But anyway, whenever you're in a relationship with other people, you feel as if you perhaps have to give them some kind of ultimatums, almost as a way of them proving their loyalty to you, or, you know, something like that. Again, not healthy to do in relationships, because it does put other people on the spot, and it does make them feel really uncomfortable and awkward. Okay. And I'm hearing as well that some of you have been betrayed quite a lot within your romantic connections, as in cheated on quite a lot. And again, that's where the ultimatum's coming in. Feeling like you're being picked last, almost. Feeling as if you have to give other people ultimatums, like it's difficult to explain. It's so difficult, but it confuses and it blurs the lines quite a lot when you're in romantic relationships. The Seven of Pentacles, how you see yourself, progress. So here's the good thing: you do see yourself as making progress, and that kind of looks like a pomegranate right there, which is all about health and healthy. So you're developing healthy coping mechanisms now that you've lived the unhealthy coping mechanisms. You're developing healthier ones because you've seen firsthand the response that other people have to you, and you've realized that's not working. That is definitely not working. And you've got the swans here with the reflections. So yeah, it's like that mirror image, that mirror reflection. It's probable that someone at some point has reflected back to you, maybe the way that you were coping, the way that you were acting, and you realized at that point, actually, yeah, that wasn't good. And again, you've got to keep in mind as well, I'm not reading this sitting in my ivory tower someplace, okay? I've been there, okay? We have all had at some point an individual who has reflected back to us our unhealthy habits, the way that we handle things. Mine in particular, I mean, she was absolutely vicious totally vicious. And I recognized the way that I used to handle things in the way that she was doing things. And I'm like, wow, that means I was a total asshole. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need the human embodiment of that karmic energy, if you will, to reflect back at us maybe what it would have looked like had we have never changed, had we have never focused on our own growth and healing. You know, sometimes we need that human reminder, oh shit, I could easily have become that way. Do you know what I mean? Or if you feel that there's nothing wrong with the way that you handle your past trauma, and then, oh, lo and behold, you end up meeting someone who reflects to you exactly the way you're handling your shit, and you realize, oh, fuck, okay, I get it now, I understand. Do you know what I mean? So please don't feel like I'm sitting here judging you or hating on you or anything like that, okay? Because I'm honestly not. I mean, that's not part of my job to do that anyway, okay? We've got the imagery here of time, and it's like melted clocks. So they're saying here for you to give yourself time. Give yourself time, because it is a process. And they're saying it's definitely not going to happen overnight, okay? So, yeah, give yourself time. The Six of Swords and Detachment, for what you're needing to do in order to process, surrender and release the trauma that you've been through, says that it's not overtaking your life, says that it's not impacting upon your personality, or at least not any more than it already has done, okay? Listen, you can reverse a lot of the damage that your trauma's caused. It is possible. It's more than possible. And again, time, self-reflection, that goes a long way, yeah? They're saying for you not to focus on your trauma so much to the point where that's the only thing that you can identify with, okay? That is super important. Again, I'm fairly positive you would have met people like that yourself before, you know, where their traumas and their stories and what they'd been through, that's the only thing that they could identify with, you know, no personality anymore. That was it. That was the only thing to them, yeah. And they made that their entire existence. And they do not make for very nice people. They genuinely don't. Because then what they end up doing is becoming that karmic that's there then to reflect to everyone else who they would have become had they never have healed or evolved, yeah. That's who that type of person becomes. They become that mirror image. They become that reflection for everyone else to learn from. Yeah. So start processing it. Try not to make it your only identifying feature, basically. Okay, so that's why it says detachment. It's not about forgetting what you've been through. It's not about that at all. It's about making sure that it doesn't become you, you know, that it doesn't overtake you, that it doesn't possess you, yeah? Yes, trauma and traumatic things have happened to you. It doesn't need to stop there, right? That's what they're saying with that one. What lesson you can learn, or what lesson you are currently learning through this process, is the Seven of Cups and delusions. Okay, so you're learning to recognize the difference. That looks quite dark on my screen. I don't know if you can see these cards properly. I just looked up at the monitor and it looks quite dark. So you're learning to recognize the difference between fantasy and reality, as in what's achievable and what is not achievable. Okay, now with this particular delusions, it's about wishing that things could be different, wishing that certain individuals who contributed to these traumatic events in your life would have at least given you a chance, wishing that they would love and accept you and be kind to you, wishing that those people could change. None of that's going to be possible. Okay, that's why it's coming out there. It's look at the situation realistically, look at them realistically, and try not to trick your brain into believing that that they treat other people differently, for example. Try not to trick yourself into believing that if you were different, maybe then they would have loved you, maybe then they would have cared for you, if only you had done X, Y, Z, whatever the case would be. Okay, avoid gaslighting yourself, because that is definitely going to make the situation worse. And these are the lessons that you're learning throughout this process. Is, do you know what? Sometimes in life, people are just absolute shits to each other. And that's just the way that they are. But it doesn't have to be the way that you are or the way that you become. Okay. So, yeah, there's that one. The Two of Pentacles, flexibility. And this one's coming out in the category of how you can begin to move forward. So start giving yourself permission to move beyond your own life experiences, be adaptable and flexible, to welcome in new adventures into your life, and if ever you're feeling bored, then maybe create new adventures in your life. Okay, but this ultimately is all about being flexible, right? And you can adapt to, and you will adapt to everything that you've been through. Okay, but again, it's not going to be your identifying feature. And I'm seeing with that, she's holding a ball, and that indicates playfulness, and then it kind of looks like a certificate in the other hand. That's strange. So it's not actually a certificate, it's like a harmonica. I was trying to think of the word, but it looked like a certificate. So we're going to go with a certificate message first, which obviously would be about some sort of an achievement. Okay, so you are incredibly successful, and you do have a lot of achievements already under your belt that you definitely need to give yourself credit for. And with the ball and the harmonica, that ties into that playful energy. Okay, what things did you want to do when you were a playful child that you weren't allowed to do, for example? Maybe now is the time for you to indulge in a little bit of that. Okay, I'm getting somebody wasn't allowed to make a lot of noise here, see, with that harmonica. So now as an adult you're afraid to make noise. Well, guess what? Spirit's telling you, fuck it, make noise. Make noise. Yeah. And you will be surprised how far that sort of rebellion is going to get you on your own healing journey. Okay, so yeah, be adaptable, flexible, and a bit more rebellious. The Three of Pentacles, this is showing out in how your life is going to change for the better, and it says Mastership. Yeah, Mastership. So your life is going to change for the better, I feel, because you're going to be sharing the experiences that you had with that globe with other people, and helping others to validate their own experiences with trauma. And I don't think you realize at this point in time how powerful of a thing that's actually going to be, not just for you, but for the other people that you end up helping through Simply Globe, sharing your experiences far and wide. Okay, and the power is coming in through the red, the white, so that's going to be purity of heart, and the black for protection. Okay, so yeah, you are going to be helping others to further develop themselves with this mastership, because obviously you need to be a master in something in order to teach others. Yeah, could you imagine if you were a teacher of any kind and you had zero experience, zero life experience behind the topic that you were trying to teach others? You wouldn't be a very effective teacher, and you definitely wouldn't be a master. Yeah. So again, it's not to put excuses on why certain things have happened to you throughout your life. Because as I've already said, sometimes people are just absolute shits, evil shits to people. And you know what? A lot of the time there isn't really an excuse behind it. Sometimes there isn't any real lesson behind it, because sometimes people are just cunts. Yeah, it's not that deep, it's not that much of a hard concept to grasp, but it's what we do with it, which is where your purity of heart comes in. That's what counts, that's what matters, and that is what's really going to make a difference, not just to your life, but to other people's lives as well. Okay, so that's your mastership, that's what your life, that's how it's likely to translate into your future. Okay, and then the Eight of Swords, this is who you're going to become when you have made peace with your trauma, imprisonment. So with this one, there's like a glass globe almost, and then you've got this triceratops, and it's a really prehistoric looking atmosphere within that globe, which means ancient history. Okay, so you're not going to be a prisoner to your own history, but also you're not going to be ashamed to reveal it either, because it's a glass globe. We can see it clearly. Yeah, so you're not going to be ashamed to tell other people your story anymore. You're not going to be ashamed of your own past, but it's also not going to hold you prisoner. It literally will become a part of your own ancient history. Yeah, and then with the irises there, that indicates maturity, and with it being purple, that's your own intuition. Right? So you are maturing in more ways than meets the eye at the moment. And so you definitely are needing to take that time, as we've already seen, to pause and reflect with that detachment energy on everything that you've been through. And again, very, very likely going to be leading by example and teaching others how they can also start to trust in their own intuition again, because trauma absolutely does sever the connection that you have with your own intuition and with your own higher self, especially if you've been gaslit constantly as well. You start to doubt your own version of events. Yeah, that severs the connection that you once had with your higher self and with your intuition. So you're going to be reforming that bond, that connection with these things, with these parts of yourself, and not just reforming it, but completely trusting in it as well. Okay, so you do stand to become a very powerful, independent individual at the end of this process. And they're also saying as well that healing is a lifelong journey, okay? So always, always, always be cautious of anybody who sits there with this sort of holier than thou attitude of, oh, I've healed, I'm 100% healed. That's bullshit, okay? Because healing, that's a lifelong process, right? You're also going to be really, really cautious of anybody who comes across like they've got something to hide as well. So yeah, transparency is going to be a huge deal. A huge deal. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to take a look at getting you a healing message. I do apologise again if anybody thought that reading was a little bit too heavy, but I have found that I tend to get the messages that no one else is wanting to tackle, that no one else is wanting to deal with, because it's not what's popular. But I don't really give a shit about that, because I do what is needed to be done. Okay, and yes, that is going to involve readings that are quite heavy like this. Okay, right, so you've got number 29, the horned cactus, resourcefulness. Blooming through resilience, resourcefulness and discovery. Yeah, it's that first sentence. Blooming through resilience. When nothing seems to be happening fast enough, or your ideas have dried up, you begin to question your relevance. Everyone's relevant. Everyone. During these periods in life, you might feel like giving up, frustrated and resentful that success will never happen for you. But the issue here, however, is a matter of perception. The horned cactus thrives in the barren desertscape, offering you the gift of water when all appears to be dry. So basically they're saying that you can offer gifts to the world that other people are not able to offer. That's what they mean with that. If you look at its body, you see the natural thorns that protect it from predators and the elements. What you don't see are the deep roots that extend far into the earth, filling it with a continuous flow of water. This succulent is a symbol of resilience, of resourcefulness, of your needs being met in spite of your appearances to the contrary. Okay. So, with that, they're saying in a twisted, roundabout way, what this trauma has, this trauma has obviously done a lot of bad things, and it might have taken away a lot of things and a lot of opportunities, but you're not to focus on that. You're to focus on what this trauma has given you, which sounds really strange, but they're saying that this trauma has actually given you quite a lot of gifts that other people don't necessarily have. Okay? Which is the ability to be incredibly resourceful and resilient. Whenever there's a crisis going on, who's the calm one in the room? 9 times out of 10, the ones who are going to be freaking out and panicking and going shit scared crazy are the ones who haven't experienced the type of trauma that you've experienced in your life. The one who's going to be calm, cool and collected in that room is going to be you. So you're more than capable of handling any crisis. Okay? But there are so many other gifts and talents that these life experiences have also given you. Okay? When you start to dig a little bit deeper. It's a reminder that the courage and inherent wisdom needed to dig deep below the less than friendly surface that hides a rich underground world. Can you connect to this magical truth and trust? The desert is a mystical place that's filled with mysterious creatures beautifully adapted to their environments. The horned cactus tells you to take heart. This journey is only temporary, and you will soon be met with greener pastures. So that's saying that your struggles They don't last forever. And your struggles are coming to an end, and you will be able to enjoy your life. You absolutely will. But first you must acknowledge your inner strength and your fortitude as you're being tested. Be as the cactus, resilient, beautiful, and resourceful. Okay. Right, so let's try and uplift this energy here a wee bit, and we're going to pull some wonderful words of wisdom from the shitty deck. What else do you have? Thank you. Okay. Oh, spooky. The first chapter of your life will not matter as much as the last chapter of your life. That's a really comforting thought, isn't it? It will show you how well you have carried yourself through all of the shitty obstacles thrown your way, and you're going to realize that you've won by how much you've grown. Yeah. And then you've got a little poop down there doing a victory dance. Okay. That's literally everything that we've seen in your read in the one card. I mean, if I'd pulled from that deck first, I probably could have saved you all 31 minutes. But there it is. There it is. What else for our collective? Thank you. 38 is faster. You have plans to make. You've got plans to start making for the next chapter of your life. So make those plans and start acting on them, okay? That's literally Spirit's telling you, your time is now. Your time to shine is now, okay? You've literally got the world at your feet. What are you going to do with it? And I think that that's a beautiful, beautiful message that they're leaving this read on. So, yeah, that is what I have for you guys today. I genuinely hope that that reading has been helpful to someone. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you did like it and you're wanting to see more. Information on where you can book a private reading with me, you can find that in my description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.